So you've all been following my clips about the reviews of the Israeli tracker knife, and in the last one that I covered I mentioned obviously the survival kit that came with the knife, and so today I just really wanted to briefly just cover the contents of that kit. I say briefly because to go into details on all of the uses and options this kit gives you could be 2 hours worth of footage, and unfortunately there's a storm front moving in and I want to get this done before that sort of arrives. I'll apologise in advance for the wind blowing on any audio. Hopefully it's just settled and I'm going to pick a few minutes and it's quiet now, but if it does get a little disruptive, watch what I'm doing and you'll see where we go from there. Alright, so the kit itself comes in this fantastic Cordura pouch with these sturdy molle attachment points, meaning that this pouch can actually be mounted directly on the front of the knife should I choose to, or they can be treated as belt loops, so kept separately, or mounted on a packing system or something similar. The kit comes in this fantastic container with these kind of roller locks on the side, meaning it's a good positive shut and hold of the lid on the kit. And that's further supplemented by this good solid rubber seal on the inside of the lid. Now, we can't ever say this is watertight, but it's certainly going to be fairly weatherproof. Inside the lid, we've got this signal mirror. Very nice feature to see. Obviously, I can use that myself, you know, for hygiene purposes and some of the routines I need to do, but for signalling is its main purpose. So let's just go to the rest of the contents. But before I do that, I just want to caveat this survival kit section that I will maintain absolutely any commercial or store-bought kit is always going to need some supplementation or adjustment. I think it would be insane to just go buy a survival kit off the shelf and take it out in the woods and expect it to do everything you want it to do. Let's just go with two things here. First of all, a kit is constructed depending on the environment you're going to and the individual competence of the person using it. So always a commercial kit should come with room to spare for me to add additional items in should I choose to. The second thing is, equipment is the top of my pyramid, and the base and the midsection of my pyramid when it comes to survival skills is knowledge and training prior to equipment. I can have this equipment, I can have more equipment, but if I don't know how to use it and I've not practiced using it, it's not going to do me any good. Okay, so I just want you guys to remember that as we're going through this kit today. I'm happy with it, we'll talk about it, but you must bear those things in mind whenever you're looking at survival equipment. Okay, so we've covered briefly the tin there. What have we got in the tin? In no particular order, we have this wire saw with the split rings attached, and if you know the correct technique for using these, they can go up through some reasonable size, even greenwood branches. You know, I'm thinking sort of 4 to 5 inches can be cut through, but you just have to be aware there is a little specific technique to go with it. I have this tea light style candle, and along with my candle I have these excellent stormproof matches. Now the stormproof matches is basically like a kind of match on steroids, in that instead of this small match head, they've actually extended that section all the way down for 2/3 of the match, and the striker strip in there, and these have been relatively weatherproof that they're sealed in this thin plastic bag. So it's a nice fire starting option. Staying with the fire starting theme, I've got this fire steel with the attached striker firmly attached by this lanyard. Again, we're aware that I can use the various profiles and edges of my tracker knife to strike on this fire steel, but having the bespoke striker with it is fairly normal in an off-the-shelf kit. If I'm twitching around a little bit on this video, my apologies for that, but given this overcast weather, the legendary Scandinavian mosquitoes are out in their hordes today, and whether you see them on this video or not, I am getting relatively well consumed while I'm sat here, so just please be aware of that. Tied in with this, I've got my survival whistle, and the really nice thing on this I liked was it's got this little O-ring sealed compartment to put emergency information in there, which I've not really seen before. I was quite taken with that. I've seen these emergency capsules on keychains and things like that, but never combined with an emergency whistle. So this was a a nice little add-on. Now for those of you who've already got your knife, you may have opened it and seen this little puzzle of a container and thought, well, wow, what's this? And what I've actually got here is this screw threaded container that, on opening it, basically gives me a sort of what should be somewhat watertight compartment to store things in, normally seen as a match case. Now if I'm absolutely honest with you, I can completely understand why people include things like this in the survival kit, but in my mind now, something like this is massively superseded by something as simple as a small Ziploc baggie. And actually using this is going to free up all of the room that this item would have taken in this kit. Bear in mind guys, I'm looking at fitting as many emergency items as I can in such a small space. So whilst I get that this is in there, personally for my kit I'm taking this one away and just using small Ziploc bags to waterproof things or weatherproof things. So feel free to amend your kit as you want to or need, but that's just my viewpoint. I have some weatherproofed paper and a pencil. Very, very nice to have to record my notes and observations or leave messages for any potential rescuers. I have this roll of self-adhesive dressing, fairly obvious purposes, but don't forget the backing of that is a sort of paper backing, so that in itself can become additional paper should I need it to. I have this small salt sachet. For those people operating in hot climates, hydration is a big concern. Actually, hydration is a big concern no matter what climate we're in, but especially in the hot climate, the electrolyte depletion, the salt depletion as I sweat profoundly is also something to be aware of. So I understand again why the salt sachet is there. I have this small fishing kit with a selection of weights and swivels and a small amount of line. I have this brass snare wire. I have some additional individually wrapped adhesive dressings. Again, nicely weatherproofed in this small Ziploc bag. And you see there's plenty of room left in that bag that I can add other things into there should I wish to. Such as this item, a couple of cotton wall balls, which make excellent fire starters, especially when combined with my, my fire steel there. I have a small sewing kit, a variety of threads, a number of needles, a button compass, obviously very good for establishing my cardinal directions, north, east, south and west. A prophylactic or condom. Now people say to use these for carrying water. Yes, you can carry a certain amount of water in them, that's true. Also I prefer to use them as a burn dressing on the extremities, a hand or something like that once it's cooled, to actually add an element of sterility. I use this almost like as a glove to unroll to cover that wound over, because the infection is a big risk when it comes to burns, and obviously the chance of me getting burnt in a wilderness survival scenario are relatively high because I'm working with fire and I may be quite unfamiliar with that. My chances are, I'm hoping, are relatively low, but if I'm not sure what I'm doing, then the chances are relatively high. I should slightly rephrase that. I've got a number of safety pins. This small, securely wrapped razor blade, so give me a nice small cutting edge. And again, combining with that, I have this small sort of multifunction knife, so I have a small blade there, a file, and a small pair of scissors. Again, I can understand why people would include a small knife in their kit. Personally, for the tasks I'm going to be doing at that level, I would prefer something simple like a razor blade or a box cutter blade. And again, you can see the difference in bulk that's saving me as far as space in my kit. So, as I say, see this as a start point. I think this is an exceptionally good, rugged container of a perfectly good size for a survival kit, sitting in a fantastic pouch with many attachment options. A good amount of basic items to get me started, but absolutely items that I would be looking to enhance and add to. So that was a brief look at the kit. There's more details down in the information box on the specific content. Also a little bit today about the creation of the knife, the design and the inspiration from Avi Nadir Sensei, whose knife it is. So please take a moment to look down in the information box and see more. And as and when I'm doing more stuff with the knife, I'll be videoing it and uploading it. You've already got the prototype tests, but I've got the whole summer ahead of me to get this knife working, so you'll see more updates here. Thanks for watching, everyone.